Top Knots family, what is going on? So, in today's video, we are going to be talking about an off-season preview for the Minnesota Timberwolves. This team has a lot of stuff that they need to do this off-season, and we're going to be breaking it down, including trades, draft picks, and all that good stuff. But before we do start today's video, if you guys enjoy NBA content, we do upload every single day, and our goal this year is to upload for 365 days. And I couldn't do it without you guys. So I just want to say I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Continue to keep liking, sharing, subscribing. We are officially 50 subscribers away from 11,000. Now, as you see right here, the Minnesota Timberwolves got absolutely destroyed by the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. It wasn't close. They lost in 5 games. Minnesota only won 1 game. And that last game was just embarrassing. OKC was just too damn good. Now, we're going to first start off talking about how the Minnesota Timberwolves players played throughout the postseason, because this is big, especially when it comes in trades. Now, I'm going to put up on the screen for you guys right here. So, obviously, Anthony Edwards led this team in points, played all the games, 15 games played. Cool, 25 points a game, 7 rebounds, 5.5 assists. I thought he was excellent for the first 2 rounds. I thought he could have been better against the Oklahoma City Thunder. But then again, when the defense is just solely focused on you and it's like a 5-on-1, they're throwing 5 bodies at you, it's hard. Julius Randle was the stinker in this series. I'm going to be honest with you, right? This year, he averaged about 22 points a game, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. What I will say, though, I do want to give him a lot of credit. Those first 2 rounds, he was amazing. He's the reason why him and Anthony Edwards and, the coaching and depth, they got to this point. No one expected the Minnesota Timberwolves to even be in the Western Conference Finals after the season that they had. They finished off strong, but beginning of the year just wasn't the greatest, right? So I do want to give a lot of credit to Randle, but that wasn't the best at all. And I do want to kind of break it down a little bit more, because this is going to be a Julius Randle conversation for sure. Before we get to that, this is Julius Randle. So Julius Randle dropped off this series. So the first 2 rounds, he averaged about 24 points a game. His plus minus was plus 47. In the Western Conference, it went from 17.4 to plus minus negative 24. So you see the difference right there where the struggle was coming in. That was kind of concerning, but it is what it is. Then Jaden McDaniels averaged about 15 points a game. He struggled dramatically. He can't find that shot. Naz Reid, Dante Alexander-Walker, Gobert, Mike Conley. So that's kind of how the playoffs went. Now, the first thing that I'm doing, I'm going to be honest with you, is we have to find a way. Well, actually, before I get to that point, before we get to that, because I was about to start very, very fast. And I want to get these salaries on the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So let me just get it on the screen for you guys real quick. So as you see right here, this is the team payroll. You got Rudy Gobert getting paid $35, $36.5, and $38 million. He was terrible. Terrible. You need to find a way to get rid of Rudy Gobert. It's simple as that. I think it's time. Him offensively, he doesn't know how to hold the ball. He doesn't know how to make a layup. He doesn't know how to get rebounds. He doesn't know how to do nothing. I don't care if he's a 4-time defensive player of the year. I don't care. Find a way to get rid of Rudy Gobert. I don't know what his value is. I don't know. But get off this contract, because I believe the Minnesota Timberwolves are a second apron team. You need to find a way to get rid of Rudy Gobert. That's one. Another conversation that we need to have, and this is going into the free agent market for the Minnesota Timberwolves, because Alexander Walker, Julius Randle, and Naz Reid, those are your free agents. I think Minnesota finds a way to bring back Naz Reid. I think it's going to be too hard for them to bring back all 3. I don't think that's realistic. I think Alexander Walker would be the odd man out, and Julius Randle is going to become a free agent. But I think Julius Randle is going to become a part of a trade, because Minnesota Timberwolves had interest in Kevin Durant this trade deadline. They almost pulled it off. Julius Randle is going to be part of that trade. So I think he's going to be more like a sign-in trade. So that's why you have to make sure like he's there. So Naz Reid is going to be back, probably getting paid $20+ million. You could try to bring back Walker, but I think it's going to be too hard. I think a lot of teams are going to try to offer him money. You bring back Randle and trade Randle for the Kevin Durant. Now, that's not me discrediting Randle. Like I said, I thought for a first year, they made it to the Western Conference Finals. That's successful. But where the Minnesota Timberwolves are at now, is before Anthony Edwards gets that massive contract, you want to win now. You do. You're in that picture. You're in that frame where it's like, okay, let's back-to-back Western Conference Finals. Let's get the job done. So find a trade partner for Rudy Gobert. He needs to get the hell out of here. Bring back Naz Reid. Bring back Julius Randle, but do a sign and trade for Kevin Durant. And you're probably going to have to let Alexander Walker go. And you're kind of fine with that because you have other young players that will step up. And when I say young players, whoa, let's look at the draft situation. So you have the 17th overall pick in this year's class, which isn't bad. You could find somebody. You know what I mean? And then not only do you have the 17th pick, you also have a round 2 pick, the 31st. So you have 2 picks in this year's class, which is not bad at all. So you have to use that. And when you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, look how they build their team. Draft capital, draft capital, draft capital, draft capital. So this is kind of what Bobby Marks came up with, a projected start in 5. Mike Conley got to find a way to get out of here, or him not being a starter no more, because he's terrible. You have to move on from Mike Conley, or he just takes less money, or whatever the case is, because we could look at the contract real quick for Mike Conley. Mike Conley is right here. So yeah, he only has 1 year left. I think maybe you just roll with it. He's 37 years old. This dude needs to retire. He was useless at the point guard position. So when you have not a great point guard at the 1 and a terrible 5, you're only having 3 players out there. And then Julius Randle struggled and Jaden McDaniels couldn't find his shot. It was just Anthony Edwards out there. So you got to find a way to either put him to the bench, find a new point guard replacement, or just trade him. Because you got to move on from Mike Conley. It's simple as that. It's nothing against him, but he's just too old. You need to bring a nice core around Anthony Edwards. So what I'm only really rocking with is Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels. You cannot trade Jaden McDaniels a part of a Kevin Durant trade. You can't. You have to keep these 2 dudes. Another thing that you need to start working on is, getting Rob Dillingham in this rotation. You need to. Maybe he works his butt off and gets that point guard position. I doubt it, but he needs to crack the rotation. Him and Terrence Shannon Jr. are going to be good pieces. Terrence Shannon Jr. cracked the rotation during the postseason and looked amazing. That's what you like to see. And that's why I'm willing to give up, certain players in part of trades, because you have the younger guys. You still have your draft capital to replace them. So a team that I'm possibly looking at is Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Kevin Durant, Rob Dillingham, Terrence Shannon Jr., Naz Reid. So you have I think my math is good, 8 or whatever the case is. You have the pieces. Probably Dante will have to be part of the trade with Julius Randle and Kevin Durant, but you're not giving up no first round picks for KD. You're not. Maybe throwing a Leonard Miller in there. I don't know what Kevin Durant's value is, so that's the tough part about it. But move on from Rudy Gobert. Try to move on from Mike Conley. If not, just put him to the bench. Find a new point guard replacement. Bring back Naz Reid. Simple as that. Trade Julius Randle for Kevin Durant. Let the younger players play, and Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon Jr. You have your draft capital of 17th and 31. And let's come back next year. You know what I mean? Like, I trust the front office for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think it's too hard. Well, it's going to be hard, of course, but they're going to get the job done. They know they got Anthony Edwards, who's still fairly young, who still wants to win and compete. Got to do his best for your player, right? Anthony Edwards is only, 23, 24 years old. In 2028, 2029, he's making about $55 million. After this year, it's probably going to go to $70+ million. So this is the time to go all in. But if they don't do that, and it's going to be hard to get Kevin Durant, I think you keep Julius Randle. You still got to get Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley off your team. Bring back Naz Reid. Let go of Alexander Walker. Still get the players in Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon in the rotation. I think that's a perfect offseason for the Minnesota Timberwolves. But let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And I'm out.